This is Ebonygeek. You're always welcome to join me in expanding your knowledge base. Comments are always welcome, and please subscribe. Hello, my name is Ebonygeek, and today is a great day to learn something. And today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be learning about functions and the meaning of functions, because it's very important to C++ and the coding that we'll be doing on our microcontroller. So we've been looking at functions this whole time, and I do want to thank you for being so patient and going through these initial tutorials, because I know it looked like we're just doing a whole lot of coding and explaining, but in the long run, this is going to explain a whole lot to you, so that when we pin up everything and we come to the coding, you'll understand exactly what's going on. And at this point, we're kind of getting to the end point of the very basis of coding that you'll need. And you'll be surprised how much it's going to help you in the long run, because once we get to a certain point, you'll really know what you're doing. So with that said, let's go ahead and explain functions. We've been looking at functions this whole time. We've been looking at predefined functions. Okay, your predefined functions is here is your void setup and your void loop. These two are required functions. You must have them, or the Arduino sketch is not going to run properly. Okay, they're already set up in the Arduino IDE setup, and as a matter of fact, whenever you bring up your IDE, you should see this. Okay, if you don't see it and you're using another IDE or another text editor, then you should be adding the loop and the setup, and these includes automatically. Okay, now of course the Arduino IDE is a bit different. You won't even see this. I'm pretty sure you'll just see the void setup and the void loop. These are predefined functions and just a part of the goodies that Arduino gives you for free. Meaning coding that you don't have to do, that is already set up for you. When you go in to these predefined functions, then you'll put inside of these curly brackets what you want. We have our pin mode, and within our pin mode we have our LED. This is nothing new. That's how we set it up in the prior tutorial that we did. And you will see this is the variable that we're looking at here. It highlights yellow when you click on it. Okay, and this is set up to be output. Okay, now when we have our pin mode set up, then we can come down to our loop function. And through the magic of video, we added what our void loop should have had in here right now. And this is the basic blink coding. Okay, very basic. This is the first thing you will learn in your examples for the blinky, and it's a very good example. So we're going to use this example in order to actually show you how we can do a function, because we could actually not clutter up our loop with all of this coding. We could actually do a shortcut, and what that would be is optimizing the coding. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we're going to put it here above our functions. Why? Because we want to let the compiler know, okay, we're going to be doing some functions. Okay, whenever you see the function in the code, you will need to stop. Let's see, whenever you see the function in the code, like say function here, and it's not going to look like this. I'm just giving you a point to think about. Whenever you see this function, stop at this point and go look and find the function, run the function, and then come back to this point, okay? So when we actually declare this function that we're going to be doing like that up here, it will know, okay, this is a function where I may see it and then I have to go and find the code. Okay, let's do our first declaration of our function prototype. It's going to be a void type. The name we're going to pick for it, or that I'm picking for it, is on high. Okay, the first word starting as a lowercase, the second word starting as a uppercase or a capital. That's what you call camel case. We're going to add our parameters, which will remain empty, but it could have something in the parameters to explain the function further, but we're not doing that right now. We're going to close it up with a semicolon. Okay, our second one is going to be a void type. It's going to be on low, also camel case. We're going to have our parameters added, and we're going to close it up with a semicolon. That's our two user-defined functions that we're going to do at this point. Now that we have our user-defined functions declared, we're going to go down, because now we could put our function definitions, and that's what this is going to be. Okay. Function prototype definition. Okay, this is where we're going to put our function prototype definitions, because now that we have a declaration on top, and we now know that anywhere we put our declaration here or here or in any other functions, that it will stop and look for the function definitions. Well, the function definitions is going to be down here because that's more convenient. It's out of the way. That's the power of function prototyping, is that you could actually put the function and all the code into the function out of the way, but whenever you need it, you could put your function prototype, which should be only one line. So let's go ahead and do our function definition, and it is as simple as this. We could copy it, what we declared up here. Let's bring it down here. And what I'm doing is I'm putting it down here so we have it as a reference point. That way I know what I'm doing. And this is just a way that I found to do this. And let me actually, that's something else. Okay. So, and this is an actual way that I started doing it in order to remember exactly what I was prototyping. And every prototype that I add, I put in these particular comment notes here. Like I said, comments good, very good. Okay, so we have our function prototypes that we'll be using. And so I'm just gonna, you should type it out, but for the sake of time, and my fingers don't like working correctly when I'm taping. Okay, so this is our first function definition that we want to do. We want to take the semicolon off, but since you're typing, of course, it won't even be there, because that's how we want our function to start off. Then we'll hit our enter button, because we're going to put our curly brackets here. I just like put my curly brackets below like this. A lot of people will leave their first curly bracket up here. And me, I just like to have it down here. It really is a matter of preference. Okay. So, what will our function prototype define? Well, it's going to define what we want our function to do on high. So what we'll do is we'll do our digital write, and remember, you could go control space bar. Then you start typing what you want. Okay. And I want digital write. Once I see it, I'm going to hit enter, and it fills it all in for me. Then I want to fill out my params. Well, what do I want my digital write params to be? Well, of course, it's going to be my LED I'm using up top. Okay, and then comma, because as you can see in this box, it's kind of giving you a guide of what to put in there. And I know it don't seem all that descriptive right now, but it's telling you that the parameters is taking two things. Okay, so it's taking an int, which is going to be our LED. Of course, our pins is going to be a LED. Okay, and it's also taking high, which is going to be an int. It's just something you should know. It's going to be high, and of course, remember, that's all uppercase. Then you hit your tab, because when you see that little green line outside your parameters, that means you can hit your tab and it's going to go outside of the parameter. See? And then you're going to close it up with the semicolon. Okay. So let's hit enter. Let's go to our next part of the code that we want it to be. And we're going to want it to delay for 1 second. Okay. That's another function goodie that Arduino gives us. So you could hit your control and your space bar. Anytime you're getting something out of control and space bar, that's some goodies that Arduino is applying for us, which is really a predefined function itself. So let's go ahead, and we're going to start typing delay. And of course it's there. It's a void predefined function. Take a look at that. You see delay. You have two types. Okay. We just want the top type. Okay. It's going to be in milliseconds. That's the default for it. And it's telling you it's taking one parameter, and it's going to be an int, a long int. Okay, what type of function is this? It's a void function. Okay, so it's telling you what kind of function it is. It's a predefined function. So let's go ahead and hit enter to choose it. Okay, and again, it's telling you right there, it's taking one parameter, and that's a int. So we want it to be 1 second. So let's put 1,000 for each 1,000 millisecond is a second. Okay, of course we see our green line behind the param, so let's hit our tab and close it up with a semicolon. Okay, nice, neat. Guess what? Our function here is exactly what we have up here. We have our declaration here, and it's saying, okay, we have a function name on high. Okay, and we have our declaration for this function prototype here. Okay, so anytime we see in a function our on high prototype, okay, and so let's go ahead and give it to them. Okay, so let's delete this because we have it already. Of course, we already defined it. So we're gonna go on high. Parameters, semicolon. Notice, and I'm just pointing it out. See, this is a function in itself, right? Notice the type isn't in front of it. We have the params. This one had params. Like I said, this could have had params, but we didn't put any. Okay, it's the same thing as what we have here. See? Our function is also coming up, and it's showing what it has set up for it. Okay, so that is how we add our function. I'm Ebonygeek, and I hope that the information provided has been helpful to you. Please remember to subscribe. Happy building and happy coding.